Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your G1 League LAN final action. This is Alliance versus Team Liquid, match number 4 I believe. Yes, match number 4 of the insane group stage. I don't even know how to call it. This is going to be Alliance's second game and Team Liquid's second game as well. Alliance looking on par, looking really good so far. Team Liquid not so much. I'm Luminous, this is Aoi, and we're going to be hopefully casting this one for the first time. They're going to see your t-shirt too.
Yeah,
because you've been wearing it 2 days, and then now people understand. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's actually jump in the game here. The pick and ban already starting here. Lifestealer and Clockwork going to be opening ban for Alliance, respecting a little bit of here from Boba's Clock. And Team Liquid's to be banning out the Lone Druid, not Bat Rider, not Wisp, and one of these is going to go through. And
yeah,
that's for bad guys.
Team Liquid's really comfortable playing against Bat Rider though. They give it up a lot in most of their matches actually.
I mean, I'm actually hoping that S4 picks up a Bat and then we see a Slark counter pick, because that's kind of their usual thing against it. What's your thought about the whole Slark thing?
I think Bat Rider still wins the lane, except Slark can kill him if he gets a TP in from the support, which can happen pretty frequently. I think Alliance will be sort of prepared for that. What you want to do is, if you're facing him, if you want to put the Slark in a 1v1 in short lane, you just have to pick aggressive tri-lane strong enough that their support can't TP up to help. Okay, so making sure that the supports can roam freely all over the map. And we'll see how Team Liquid actually adjusts. So far, Slug, I mean, he's doing okay against Bat Rider, but he hasn't really proved that it's a lopsided matchup. And like you said, Slark without help doesn't beat Bat Rider solo. So I guess the cool thing about Slark versus Bat Rider is that once Slark gets level 6, he's almost unkillable. Yeah, he's pretty much unkillable before that. Dark Pack removes all the sticky charges, and it's hard for Bat Rider to really man up on you. However, if you sort of skip Firefly, you can go Sticky and
Flame Break.
You can trade pretty favorable in lane. If he ever gets close to you, you can just cast Flame Break on top of yourself with sort of 0 cast delay, and then it'll push him away from you, sticking him right away, so it's hard for him to turn away from you or turn back towards you to hit you again. So Bat Rider, I still think he wins that. You also, Slark can't really deny you, he has very low base damage, and you should be able to get a lot more denies on him. Okay,
so we'll see even Slark is even picked up. We've been kind of talking about a lot of Slark. And Team Liquid might not even resort to picking up that hero. But for now, Nyx Assassin Gyrocopter is going to be the opening 2 pick. TC's been playing a ton of Gyro, and I feel like he has really a deep understanding of the hero, and he usually play it very well. But Chen and Nature's Prophet is going to be the Lion's pick, and I don't think we're going to see any. Normally when you see a Bat Rider, you're going to have a debate of whether it's going to be a jungle Bat, whether it's going to be a long lane Bat. But for Lions, I only see them run the solo mid. So Chen and jungle, Nature's Prophet is going to be handled by Emerald Bulldog. Last but not least, Bat Rider being handled by S4. So Alliance, really standard draft. Boba's going to be playing Darkseer in this game. No Clockwork for him.
This actually might be a Darkseer middle. I think it has the lookings of that. They might try to get a 1v1 versus the Furion with the Gyro. And then you put Darkseer mid against Bat Rider, because Darkseer farms, Bat Rider can't really kill him.
Okay.
So I don't know really, because sometimes you don't really like aggressiving versus Chen, but Chen isn't an enchantress, so you can still aggressive versus that hero, even if you can't really get killed in the lane. If Chen dedicates a lot of time to stopping your tri-lane, the Chen becomes really underfarmed, and Chen isn't a hero that can survive without items. He really needs like a mech and then a start of an item, like a Vlad's or a start of an Aghanim Scepter or Arcane Boots.
Okay, so assume that we're going to see the Slark. You're talking about how the Alliance needs to have some sort of aggressive supports?
I don't think they'll go for a Slark here anymore. I mean, their other option is that they put a different mid, or even Gyro mid. They sack the Darkseer and they put a tri-lane top because they don't want to contest that Chen. Nyx is a bit weak in lane for that as well. So that wouldn't be a bad option for that.
Doom Ben. Is Alliance been playing Doom lately? I haven't seen it myself.
Yeah, they run a really nice pocket strat with Doom with Chen and Nature's Prophet. You get early auras on him, like a Vlad's, a mech, or Atos, something like that, and you just
big push.
Yeah, you just push. It's really hard to stop with the Chen creeps or Furion creeps, and Doom. It's very hard to walk up to nuke the creeps out against a Doom
because he just dooms you.
Yeah, he dooms you. Big assault, and same with Bat Rider, right? Like Bat Rider is a hero where you either commit to defending a tower or you can't defend a tower, because there's always that threat of that blink in, grapple, grip, or even like a flame break out of position. That's really what makes Bat Rider such a strong hero. On top of the fact that he's a super strong laner, he's good at finding picks. He's also really good at not really pushing, but sort of allowing pushes to happen, and also for defending pushes.
Well, here we go. The Slark is being panned out here, so we're seeing everything. in terms of this drafting phase. So yeah, back to what you say, perhaps we are going to see that Darkseer 1v1 matchup mid. I'm not sure who actually will play that. Boba has been lately going back mid with some of his standard long lane heroes, and this will be another example of doing that. So we might see a defensive tri-lane, we might even see offensive. What's your prediction on that?
I personally think that Team Liquid should just defensive tri-lane versus, but they do have that possibility of aggressive. The reason I think that they should defensive is just because Chen in the jungle makes it like sort of hardish already, but then the Fury Important is just gonna sort of ruin it.
Okay.
But Gyrocopter does stomp the Nature's Prophet very hard in lane. So they might try to just abuse that and say, hey, we don't really need to get kills in our aggressive tri-lane just because we have our one in the short lane getting complete free farm against the Furion.
Well, we'll see also what heroes they pick up here will be a big determinant of that as well. But on the second ban phase, it looks like both team is looking to shape their draft so far. I want to say that Alliance still have a kind of wide hero pool in terms of what they want to select. Yeah, you talk about how there might be kind of a cheesy pushy strat.
I don't think they'll do it anymore just because. Well, actually, I can't say that. Alliance has some really cool pocket strategies here. I mean,
if they want to really force a push, they could go DK.
Yeah, they could go DK, they could go Jug. I definitely like the DK a bit more. I think that Alliance wants one more lockdown. Just because, like, DK is so good against Darkseer here too, because you can stand in front of your team with your ult on, and he can never really get the vacuum off. The stun is instant. It's also very good versus Nyx. And if you ever catch a Gyro out with it, shouldn't really happen, because usually if DK runs in, you have allies that blow him up. Like, he's tanky, but he's not that tanky. Just run into the backlines like Gyro, because Gyro will be at the back hitting like creeps or flag to proc or whatever, and his ult also makes it hard to approach him. So yeah, I was thinking like Juggernaut too, but I don't know. I don't like playing lineups without lockdown, but he's definitely not that bad option, just because Juggernaut versus Nyx is very good for Jug. Spin goes through the carapace, so does Omni Slash. Healing Word is obviously going to be very good, and like these heroes, sure, you can get with a Darkseer Wall Illusion, but it's sort of chaotic and you might not always be able to do it. Garo's not particularly good at doing it. Nyx isn't particularly good at doing it, and just keeping your lane options open is nice. Yeah,
Alliance gets himself a 4th pick Shadow Demon, which in more of a Eastern game that cannot happen, or won't happen. But if you're in the Western game, it's not as highly valued.
Well, Shadow Demon is still up there, but I find like even in the two scenes, sometimes you see heroes like just absurdly, like their pick order just changes an absurd amount. Like last game you saw like Batrider, right? Or like Nyx has been like not picked in some things, but people like first pick him in other games. It's just sometimes your captain has like a certain draft planned out, and it's like, hey, we don't need to deal with this hero that would otherwise be top tier, because say we have a hero that's very good at him. Example that would be, hey, they have a Nyx, sure, we're going to go like a Lone Druid Lightstealer. What does Nyx do to us? He hits me, I just rage and kill him. He hits my bear laughs because it's funny.
Right. So, okay, that's a very, very good point here. Jacaro's going to be the pickup, so we're looking at kind of a big AoE ways to wombo combo with the Darkseer, some decent counter push as well, but they haven't got around the problem of how to actually deal with the Batrider against the push, because when I see heroes like Nyx Assassin and Jacaro, they're very clunky, they're very slow, and if you come up to blow away that creep wave, you're going to get jumped on, you're going to get initiated on, and that's going to be tough.
I mean, I really hope that Liquid's not thinking that they can just use Nyx to counter the Batrider, the Blink and Initiation with Firefly. It does work sometimes, but S4, if he's playing Batrider, he's good enough that he can probably get in position without Firefly, blink in and use Force Staff out, and then use Firefly. But it's sort of hard because usually you want Firefly for division, but I don't know, S4 does some remarkable things on that hero.
I've seen S4 kind of just pick teams apart after he just initiates every single time for his team and get pickoffs. The issue is that, like you say, he kind of needs Firefly for vision. He comes in from awkward angles. It's going to be the Anti-Mage pickup here, and I assume this Anti-Mage is not going to be going for the standard Battlefield build, a little bit more early game oriented, picking up maybe treads, maybe even going for early Vlads. That's seemingly how Loda's been playing lately, or do you think he's going to be going for a little bit more standard?
I think he'll definitely be going for treads. My former teammate Time was a really big proponent of the Vlad's build on Anti-Mage, like before Battlefield, but it's a bit more rare. I'm not too sure if he'll actually do it. I think we'll see a standard Battlefield on him. I really don't want to see something like a Vanguard Manta. I don't think that'll work out for them at all this game. And if you're going to do that build, you might as well just pick a different hero. So I hope he does go for a Battlefield or something build. And this is a Queen of Pain pickup. So Queen of Pain actually, in my opinion, if the players are equal skill, she wrecks Batrider mid.
Okay.
You go one set of regen only, like one Tango or one Salve, and you get a magic wand at level 1. And you can Shadow Strike him, trade hits, do whatever you want. You have hard base damage, you can last hit creeps, you have better rune control. You can burst him down, you have better kill potential. Like, everything is in favor of Queen of Pain.
Okay. Normally you don't see that matchup that way because Batrider is generally the kind of the most dominant solo mid. Queen of Pain is always in the pull, and you don't see that matchup going towards Queen of Pain that much.
I mean, Batrider, his mid dominance, he used to be really, really dominant mid because he could sort of sacrifice a lot of golden XP and just push them on the mid lane, which not a lot of heroes can push a mid hero out of EXP. And at 6, you could get a kill because you could lasso them while attacking them.
Right.
But ever since that nerf where you can't attack during lasso, he's gone a lot less dominant mid. Sure, you can get kills sometimes. You dominate a lot, some heroes like Meg, but it's not as bad as before. So, I don't know. I don't really like Batrider mid in general, but S4 plays him really well. So.
Yeah, he really does, and we'll see how he's going to be playing here today. But S4 Batrider, like you said, is going to be going mid. We're going to have Aki Chen jungling it up. Loda is going to be defensive, playing the anti-mage, EGM on the defensive support. Shadow Demon, last but not least, Emerald Bulldog, most likely rotating between jungle and the top lane, will be handling Nature's Prophet.
Right, and on the side of Liquid, we have TC playing the Gyrocopter, we have Korok playing the Queen of Pain, we have Fluff playing the Nyx Assassin, we have Liquid Bubble playing the Darkseer, and we have IX Mike playing the Jakiro.
Yeah, here's the big thing that really that's not really in this game in terms of the draft, is that Team Liquid right now is somewhat rattled up. After the game against Orange, it was really close, but for the most part, it was Orange that took it. And we also saw the Alliance game between Alliance and DK, and that was exciting.
Their confidence has never been better right now. I
yeah,
think.
seriously. So in terms of how mentally these teams are prepared to face each other, I gotta put it on Alliance this time.
I mean, I don't know if you caught that, but Bubble tried to go for a lasso on the Tron that was suicide to Roshan. I just thought that was sort of cute. He almost got bashed by Roshan there. But yeah, hey, why not, right? And this D word is actually huge by Alliance. They want this D word basically means that they don't need to smoke to gank mid anymore. Now Korok, it's gonna sort of be hard for him to play against a Batrider because not only does he have a Fear Important, which sort of already sways a bit in Batrider's favor, but he also has this really easy wraparound from the Shadow Demon and Chen. And I mean, having your first word counter like that, it's bad. But hey, they still have a Rune Ward, which makes it a bit better. They waited to place their lane ward down. It would have been really bad if they put a lane ward down and then that happened.
Well, you talk about this mid matchup, it should favor Korok if he know what he's doing so far. His magic stake is collecting some charges. He's going for the correct starting items. We're going to see a quick bottle coming out from Bat, or is it going to be a quick boots? Normally you see quick boots on the Batrider, but do you feel like the metagame maybe it's adjusted a little bit more towards the bottle? I
think in this matchup you need to get the bottle. I don't think you're going to kill the Queen of Pain with the boots. I mean, really it's sort of lane dependent. If you're really far ahead, you don't need that bottle. You don't need a regen because you're far ahead.
Right.
You get quick boots, you get anything but bottle really if you're stomping.
Right, but I don't think that so far that's the case. So far the CS is fairly even. It's 3-1, 3-0. Emerald Bulldog's getting nothing out of that top lane as usual, and of course Darkseer is going to be stacking the bot lane, and he's going to be rising away.
Yeah, so something that's sort of good that Boba did is he sort of starts bottom so you can see them, and that also means that Shadow Demon can't just go level 1 gank mid because if Corp gets Shadow Poison, they can actually kill her.
Right, but I mean, you don't really get a level 1 gank anyways, because Aki doesn't have a creep yet, so...
Well, they don't need the Chen creep to kill a Queen of Pain in my opinion.
They're gonna just right-click,
yeah, she's a 1 armor at level 1. It's very easy kills. You can... I've even seen some Shadow Demons, they just like take I think it's like 1 in 5 chance to get a full body block with a circle. And you can just block someone with just your Disruption and your hero, which it's really uncommon, but it can happen.
Well, in any case, looks like we see a big push coming in. Darkseer is already in position to try to get some EXP out of the lane, but I think they need another support to actually start defending this. Generally, Team Liquid is very good at rotating in. So far, we don't see the rotation. A ton of creeps. It's dying under the tower.
Oh, sorry about that. It's just ridiculously early. Their supports don't really have the means to TP over there yet or anything.
Yeah, so I mean, generally you see this. You don't see the push coming out until much later. But this kind of a 2-minute, 1.5 minute push has really allowed them to get a tier 1 tower out of the exchange. They will back off. I don't think they're going to try to pressure tier 2, but still, an early amount of going towards a pocket of, for example, Emerald Bulldog.
And that would really help.
Yeah.
Both. Especially like when you have a Nature's Prophet who's not getting that much into offlane. When you can get that quick Midas, it's just great. And he actually goes for boots first. So I agree with this pickup in this game. I don't really like the straight Midas rushes in a lot of games, especially if you're crippled and you're against a Nyx. Is that like you might get your Midas, but you're still such an easy target. And I actually feel like Liquid Bulba could have stayed in the jungle for a bit longer. If he had stayed in the jungle, he would actually be level 4 right now, but they get their mana burning loaded down, making him a bit scared to farm, which is also nice. But anyways, if he had, like, he didn't get any XP from that rotation. Yeah, and he wasted a ton of mana.
He made a complete standard rotation, which is he saw the push starting to gather up and he immediately surged there. But unfortunately, without the TP support, he wasn't going to get anything. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Any case, Liquid Korok on the mid lane, he's still farming away. You said that it's going to be a Queen of Pain dominating lane. How does she actually dominate? She's just going to farm, right? If she gets farm, does it mean she wins the lane?
She has kill potential on the Bat Rider too. Just because Shadow Strike harass is really strong. I actually feel like S4 is a bit of a better laner than Korok, so that might sway a bit in his favor.
Well, so far she hasn't really been able to harass too much with the Shadow Strike. S4 is at full HP, the bottle is up, the Boots speed already up, and really, thanks to that tower, and as well, perhaps better last hit.
It's smoked by the Chen here.
I'm seeing it right now, and let's see if it's going to be successfully ganking up. I guess if you disrupt and
Fluff breaks the smoke.
Fluff is actually a little bit blocked up with this hill as well. It's going to be disruption. That's going to find him. Unfortunately, it's going to be a body block. He's walking forwards. Nice impale. It's going to walk all the way out of there. So the smoke gets dispelled. It's actually not too bad from Team Liquid. Unfortunately, Fluff has to go all the way back to base.
Yeah, and he successfully stacks those Ancients too. So it's really not bad at all for him. I sort of like what they've done here. They've rotated the Nyx to the bottom lane instead of Darkseer, just because Darkseer can jungle so much faster, and they don't need that much help keeping Furion out of lane. Once Gyro and the Jakiro are once they already have a lead in lane. I would have liked TC to pick up just one in homing missile to help with the Jakiro, because it's hard for him to keep the Furion out in a 1v1.
Yep, but looks like we are going to see a rotation back up top. Fluff and Fluff trying to make a gank going on. I think they could be able to get this one off. Unfortunately, Admiral Bulldog just constantly scouting him out. So, I mean, Fluff is actually not doing too much here, but on the bot lane, he wouldn't accomplish much either, because...
I mean, he gets some EXP down there. Right now, like, he's not getting any XP, and their supports they don't get that much either. Like, they get half the experience from the pull if they save it. If not, it feels like a bit of waste. I mean, at the very least, they can sort of take the stack together, but I don't really think you would need Fluff to do that anyways.
Yeah, I mean, he blew and played there. I guess he is going to get a little bit of XP as well, but he's taking away from his support. And here comes the Boba on the bot lane. He's going to get a little bit of XP as well.
I mean, the thing is about rotating like that, any creep that gives like multiple, that's sort of like a 2 or a 1, you don't get the extra EXP from that. So like if it's a 62 EXP melee creep, when you have 3 heroes, you only get 20 EXP each. So you don't get that extra 2 EXP, which is really small, but I think it sort of matters in the very long run. Because look at the levels right now for the supports. They're really they're a full level under the supports on the other team.
Yeah, I mean, the two supports here are being rising away in the jungle. Aki's been doing very good on that. The smoke gank, quote unquote, failed. Yeah. But as a result, they're going to go back in the jungle. As they're pushing, they didn't actually spend too much time. In fact, it was like 20, 30 seconds back in the mid lane. They're surging up. S4 is going to get impaled. But unfortunately, I don't think they can make it up the cliff. So a ton of spell being used, a ton of time being wasted. And S4 is fine. So the lack of harass early on from the Queen of Pain will result in a failed kill. And now, I mean, I'm not sure what Team Liquid could do from here, because without Korok having his ultimate for 2 minutes, Bat Rider don't even have to be afraid in the lane.
Yeah, he's really not afraid of anything. He's winning his lane quite handedly. I mean, this game, the score is 0-0, but I think Alliance is in a very, very good position right now.
I mean, they're leading about 1,500 gold just off of a single tower push. They're farming a lot better. And you got to keep in mind that Anti-Mage is having complete free farm in this case. He's going for a very, very standard, it seems like, treads into your Battle Fury build, as you would expect. And if you have like a 15-minute Battle Fury and treads and a Quelling Blade, I'm not too sure whether Team Liquid has enough here to actually stop his farm. Queen of Pain doesn't have the necessary farm to go for a quick enough Orchid. Your Nyx Assassin is not really high level enough to harass him in the jungle. I just don't think you can stop this Anti-Mage from going out of control.
That sounds really accurate. And like, they don't really have anyone who has a hard to save on him really. As long as Alliance is good with their sentries, which I definitely expect they will, but you're not really going to get a Nyx gank on the Anti-Mage. Like, you can spend the extra gold to protect your carry when your carry is someone like an Anti-Mage.
Well, looks like we're going to see a little bit of tier 1 push up on the top lane. Admiral Bulldog again trying his best with Micro's treants around, making sure he's getting a little bit of XP on the jungle. He's got to be very careful about that dive. You talked about the lack of homing missile. At the very least, that would have driven him out and chased him a long way and really allowed them to pressure this tower a little bit more.
Admiral Bulldog has been doing a really good job though. He's been screwing up the creep wave aggro with his Trance for a very long time. He's sort of manipulating the creep wave so that his tower gets extra hits as well, which is sort of nice. You watch him. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we saw him moving his treant earlier on down this ramp, forcing a couple of ice path coming out from IX Mike, and now you can see that he's just getting a nice bit of denies. He's actually getting a couple of last hits under the tower as well. So playing it really well. Normally people think like, how do you actually long lane on Nature's Prophet? Because you don't have any escape spell, you're very fragile. This is how you do it. You micro retreats, you drag the equilibrium. Looks like we're gonna see a glyph, and oh, the cooldown's gonna come right through, and S4 is gonna tank a ton of damage. I'm not too sure. Did he think he could have canceled the TP? Maybe a little bit too slow on that, but he got blown up.
That was definitely weird. He had full vision on the Gyro casting his ulti there. He had to know that he goes in, he dies.
Yeah. He was actually very close to the Blink Dagger. Now he's at 1530 gold. He probably was sitting at, what, 17 to 1800. Gave TC a first blood. And now TC suddenly will upgrade to his Helm of Dominator. Imagine one immediately. Last time we saw Gyrocopter being played by TC, he also went for a very similar build. What's your thought on Helm first? I mean, it doesn't give you too much. Korok blinks in, gonna focus on Admiral Bulldog, and looks like that is gonna be a nice pickup here for, really needed kill for Korok. We talked about how he needs it for a quick orchid. That helps a lot.
As far as the HOTD goes, I think this, if you're going to go the HOTD, this is the situation to get it in. When you're already ahead and you just need, you can't really push into their base early, so you want to just farm late. Gyro's a really strong late game carry. I mean, they do have an Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage is like a hero where you can, he's not like Anti-Mage, PL, all these heroes, you can hit timings against them. Like Anti-Mage with even like Battleframe Manta, he's not that scary. It's once he gets his third item, that's when he's scary. So but in between that second, third item, if you're really farmed, you kill like 8 Ancient Camps between before that, get a big item, you can take all the tier 2s, and then Anti-Mage suddenly isn't that scary anymore. Your Queen of Pain will have a Hex, your Nyx will have a Ghost Scepter, your Darkseer will probably be having a Shivas or a Hex as well. Like, there are ways to deal with these really farm heavy heroes.
The way that you're describing the Helm of Dominator, it almost seems like it's a timing farming oriented item, like almost a safer Midas, would you say? Yeah,
I think it's very similar to Midas. I like it a lot more than Midas on Gyro. It also it sort of builds up into a Satanic, which is nice. I have this thing where if your carry ever gets like a Butterfly Satanic BKB, they're like impossible to kill until very late when all their damage dealers get NKB, and you can hit timings off that, which is exactly what you want versus a hero like Anti-Mage.
So I'm assuming that is the item build that we're gonna expect to see out of TC. Helm into BKB, maybe an early Butterfly, and then more of a later Satanic.
Yeah, that sounds quite good. I'd actually like to see him delay his BKB if he can, but you sort of have to like judge it as a player how you feel the game flow is going. You think you need that BKB, then you get it. If not, then you do farm faster without it. You can kill the stacks faster. So you could even go like a Ogre Axe into a Butterfly into finishing your BKB. It also lets you have charges later on, but
we're going to see a Blink Dagger being picked up here by Batrider 11 minutes in, and generally that's kind of when the game completely goes out of control, because S4 finds all these ganks everywhere he goes, and let's see where the first gank coming on. I love the fact that, oh, there you go. Look at the way that he's held it. I'll talk a little bit about later. Korok in big trouble. He's going to try to blink out. No, he got blown the hell up. Fluff is in position. They're going to focus on S4 for the TP in from TC. They're going to focus on S4. S4 is going to get blown up. Great TP support. Now EGM's on the run. Aki's on the run. The buyback from Quab gets one kill. She's got haste. She's looking for another. She's such an aggressive player. Korok's such an aggressive player on aggressive hero. Aki's seen out here, I think. No, Aki.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Aki's going to be dead here. That's going to be another kill. What a great play here from Team Liquid. But almost equally impressive. The courier was parked over here, and basically Batrider was waiting for a good opportunity to get the blink. As immediately he got it, he blinked forward. So the enemy team never really saw the blink until they got initiated upon. So kind of a smart trick of hiding your item until you absolutely need it at the last second.
I thought that was a bit weird. I felt like they could have killed the Queen of Pain and just got it out as soon as they saw the Gyro TP in. They did have a ward there, so they have full vision. But I think they got a bit... Actually, I'm not too sure what happened there in like their voice comm. They got a bit confused, some miscommunications there. But like, worst comes to worst, at least Lodo was farming the entire time. I would have liked him to get a bit more pressure on the tower there, but it's an Anti-Mage. He's getting farmed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe perhaps to make a guess on why they didn't see the gyro TPing. You don't see enemy TPs on the mini-map, right? So maybe perhaps they weren't just looking at that particular area of the map, like in front of the tier 1, so they didn't see the TP. They got really blindsided, and good reaction here from TC. And what do you think about the buyback on Queen of Pain? We talked about how she really needs that early Orchid, and so far she's, despite getting that 2 kill earlier, like, I mean, look at her farm. She's got nothing. Do you think it's still a good buyback though?
I think it was worth it just because she got the kill on the Shadow Demon. This early on, the buyback probably costed her 350 gold. She got back, what, 300 of that, and then the EXP makes up for more than the rest because she's gonna, not only she's gonna earn the extra 50 mid.
Well, mid lane here, they're going to focus on the low. You got to keep in mind that there is a Blink Bat Rider on the map, and the Flame Lasso is available. Vacuum backwards here, immediately blink out Boba. It's going to be fine. These Shen Creeps doing a ton of work. Where's the Bat Rider? Bat Rider safely under that tier 1, waiting for a jump, but really good position by Team Liquid. I think if they get jumped, they could actually dish out a ton of damage and maybe even get a return kill as a result. IX Mike, I'm not sure what he's doing though. Korok gets zapped a second time, but Korok should be able to blink out IX Mike again. Good Ice Pap, preventing the rest of the enemy to come to you. Fluff and stuff. Popping that Spike Parapet and running on the fire, getting a stun on as well. So Team Liquid will survive yet another engagement. Everybody is quite low though, but the fact, a smoke on the high ground. They also put a sentry ward before just to make sure that this smoke will come through. To me, a little bit questionable about smoke because they're all very low HP. But seems like they think they can find a kill.
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird. So I felt like IX Mike sort of misplayed a bit there. He could have chained the stun after the Shadow Demon Disrupt and killed the Anti-Mage. He had like a full second to cancel that, so I'm not too sure what happened. This smoke by Team Liquid, it's sort of weird because they're all low, but Alliance also thinks that they're all backing because they're all low. Right. So this is the best chance to kill the Anti-Mage, really. And
looks like they're going to start out with the Impale. There we go, and where's the Blink Focus? Nice Ice Pass will follow through, and the nukes are going to come right there. No Orchid, but a good old way of smoke ganking, and they're going to get themselves a kill.
That's an important kill.
Yeah, it's a 4-man kill, but yeah, they got it. It looks like they're going to pressure a little bit of the tier 1 as a result. Fluff and Sub, I believe he Vendetta next to it, and then didn't use a Vendetta hit, just straight up Impale, because he knows that Loda is going to be blinking.
That's a smart heads-up play.
Yeah, you know that if you're a second too late, or if you just question Loda's reaction rate, he's going to blink away. Yeah. So just make sure that you just get your Impale off, and then trust your ally to change stun and get the kill.
More than anything, he knew that he didn't need the extra Vendetta damage to kill. I'm actually wondering, Loda feels a bit under-farmed to me actually at this point. At the 14-minute mark, I feel like if you had that sort of free farm, you should have had at least 100 CS on the Anti-Mage. You can easily push the lane up to a tower and then go to the jungle, and Darkseer will push the lane back for you. So you can get extra CS that way. I'm not too sure what happened there, but...
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused myself. Maybe he missed a couple of CS as he was pushing a little bit earlier in the game.
I mean, I did see... I liked what he was doing, though. He's staying up at the lane and sort of denying the Darkseer a lot of farm. But it feels like 15 minutes free farm, you should have your Battlefield on Anti-Mage.
Yeah, I completely agree. And whether he was denying creeps from Darkseer or not, the fact that denying creeps is nice, but farm is so much more important on the Anti-Mage.
And I mean, Darkseer has his mech.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you deny Darkseer or not, because he's been jungling pretty well as well. Looks like two teams are smoked up. They're going to be baiting Fluff in the front line. IX Mike staying very close to his ally. And again, S4's got to be very careful. But here we go. He uses Firefly, so Fluff could easily disengage anytime he wants by using that Spike Carapace. Looks like Team Liquid just not afraid of that Firefly initiation or Flaming Lasso. They use a Spike Carapace, get a stun, get a kill on the tower, and they just back out. No, they're going to TP right on the tower. 3 TP gets cancelled. I'm not too sure what? Okay. Well, that was like a 300 gold down the drain. Yeah. Tier 1 tower goes down, but... At least they got a tier 1 of their own.
I want to point out, Fluff made a really heads-up play there. He, right before the tower went down, he used his Carapace to cancel Bat Rider's blink cooldown, just in case Alliance was in position to initiate on that.
Blink in and deny and
so he put that blink on CD there, which is really, I thought that was pretty clever there.
Yeah, that's why I kind of point out that because Firefly was already used, he was a little bit trouble. Oh, Admiral Bulldog looks like he's going to get picked off here. Fluff perhaps waiting for his ally come through. IX Mike, I think they will have enough. It's going to be Vendetta into Ice Path. Where's the Ice Path? He's looking. No, that was, sorry, not IX Mike. It was actually Boba. And looks like with the Iron Shot, they were able to pick up a kill. No support TP coming through. Very nicely played here. good patience from Fluff and stuff.
I feel like Fluff actually should have waited like 1 or 2 more seconds there. But I mean, the gank went well, so all's good. But I felt like if Alliance had 1 TP in there a bit earlier, like the Shadow Demon, they could have actually turned that around. Like Shadow Demon into
Disrupt
the Batrider,
and then Purge, and then it would have went the other way.
Because Darkseer's Surge was still CD when the stun was going on. That's why he was a bit late there.
Well, in any case, Korok Rocket back on the bot lane, gets flame dragged, and
that's
easy kill. Not sure why he was doing there.
I mean, he was a bit far up. Maybe he expected that the Queen of, or the Batrider would have tried to rotate top to defend the Furion there. But hey, picks happen in Dota. And something that Loda's been doing that I really he has 2 treads. Okay, he stole the second one.
Did he just misclick?
Yeah, he misclicked, bought 2 treads. Like, oh.
Well, I mean, we're talking about somewhat of a later Battle Fury than expected because he got free farm, but at the end of the day, he's got the Battle Fury, and now the farm train starts. We saw a decent gank happening early on, but how do you stop this now?
They don't necessarily need to stop it after that 1 gank. Gyro definitely can farm up there with Anti-Mage. If you look at the CS, like, he's at the same with Anti-Mage, except he's killing Ancients right now. So he's actually getting more in terms of farm. Also, that Treads pickup, it might... Oh, they're going Anti-Mage again. He already uses Blink.
Yeah, nice. Seems like Satyr's also joining the fight here to drop a nice bit of... a nuke on his face. They don't get the kill on Loda, which I don't want to say it's a fail gank. In fact, they have done a lot of damage. He's actually been forced to go all the way back to base.
I feel like they could have killed him there though.
If they chased TP enough.
If Darkseer had dropped his wall on him and then Nyx uses his Vendetta to just hit, I feel like 2 hits from the wall illusion would have killed Loda there.
Enough the mana burn.
I mean, it's sort of risky that like it's sort of hard to say, oh, I'm gonna kill an Anti-Mage here just because you don't sometimes know that he went 3 in his break instead of into stats, which is sort of a weird build.
Yeah, I mean, they also, I'm not sure whether they have marked down the cooldown timing of Chen. Maybe they were thinking that Hand of God might be on and you're dumping a ton of spells. You were talking about that Gyro's farming ancient camps. Loda would now do so as well.
They're taking Roshan here. This is pretty clever, smart actually. They de-warded around it quite a bit earlier, so Alliance really has no way of knowing that they're doing this, and Alliance is actually going for their own ancient second time. This should be a free Roshan for Liquid.
Earlier I saw Observer Ward in this particular area of the map on the on the enemy Ancients by Team Liquid, so maybe after that was de-warded, they realized that the Ancient's gonna be coming soon.
That's very smart by them there.
Yeah, and since they de-warded, they know Ancient's gonna be coming soon. That means that they could go into the Roshan pit themselves, and Team Liquid will get this free Aegis. You were talking about this timing push coming out from a gyrocopter, getting enough items. But that on the same result, that also means you have basically 1 or 2 shot, right? If you fail that 1 or 2 shot, and now Team Liquid gets very far enough, they're gonna get themselves 3 Centaur creeps or 3 Chen creeps.
This is a good timing for them now. They back up, wait for their cooldown to all reset. But look, S4 knows that their cool's all down. They're just gonna go in here.
Spike here, but it's gonna be used. Force Staff is out, but now Korok's gonna initiate. Ooh, he blinks in, didn't see a good angle. Flame Break's gonna come through as well. Team Liquid will disengage and back off.
Yeah. And that was a really good decision making by S4 there. He knows he can only really go for the next assassin there just because the Spike Carapace is going to stun him if he goes for anyone else. So he goes for the Nyx, and then the Nyx sort of just barely walked out that ward vision, so he couldn't get his last off right away, and then he just forced us out right away. Chen sends him back, so he's able to turn around, get the flame break off, so they can't really chase his allies. I really like the Batrider skill build as well. I think that this is the best skill build for Batrider. You want that flame break
max up.
Yeah, you want to max that just so that you can have the anti-push and the burst damage. Because Sticky, it's really good, but the scaling from level 3 to 4, it's not that much better. Whereas Flame Break, you're going to have a low CD on that. You can keep spamming that. I also saw Furion stack the Ancients with his summon, which is really nice. Yeah,
I mean, Nature's Prophet being handled by Admiral Bulldog, in my opinion, the best neutral stacker, or ancient stacker, if that's even something you could coin, in the world. Like, he shares control with his allies and completely sentries all the place. One stack the big hams, one stack the ancients, and they make sure that everybody gets farmed.
I really want to see his Furion. They stack like 5 counts with it.
Yeah, they do. Like,
they do?
Yeah, they actually do.
I've never actually seen that, but that's pretty good.
It actually surprised me how little that other teams copy. It's maybe a little bit more difficult to train for at the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty insane. Looks like he is going to be pressuring the bot lane a little bit. He's gone for a Midas into a Shadow Blade. The order has been a little bit awkward because he's gone Breach or Treads first, I think, maybe even, or definitely Breach first. But now Team Liquid, like you said, it's going to be hitting the timing, pressuring a little bit up top, but even though they're getting this tier 2, they're losing a ton of room and a ton of ground on the other lanes, and that means they're gonna give themselves anti-mage more farm because they now have to push out the mid lanes now. Back in mid lane here, looks like S4 is gonna get stunned up by Spike Carapace once again, but he's gonna make it out just fine because he has 4 staff. Korok's gonna be blowing out a ton of creep on the bot lane as well. Is that gonna be a complete Orchid? Yes, it is. So now if they want to roam around the map and go for anti-mage kills, it's a fine thing to do as well, but I think they should focus on tower pushing instead.
Anti-mage actually has his Manta style.
Oh my
here,
god.
so he's going to be in an okay spot even though Korok has his Orchid. While his Battle Fury is a bit late, his Manta timing relative to his Battle Fury time was quite good. You usually get your Manta style about 8 minutes after your Battle Fury.
Yeah.
Off free farm, so it's quite good still.
And those ancient stack really help out in terms of getting it. We have a level 9 Nyx Assassin just roaming all of the map by himself for a kill. You can see that S4 on the opposite of that finds himself a lucky Invis Rune and is doing exactly the same. Where does Team Liquid go from here? It seems like they all gather on the bot lane to look for another tier 2, and I think this is what they need to do. Like, they cannot allow this anti-mage to farm even further. And this is one of the last few times that they're going to be slightly more ahead in terms of inventory.
I mean, you asked what they should do. They should do exactly what they're doing right now. What Fluff did by Vendettaing into their jungle, it's not just, hey, I'm looking for a pick. Oh no, it failed. That's really bad. It's, he's looking at how they can create space for the Garo right now. Just by knowing that they aren't in their jungle, you're sort of getting scouting vision on them. That's like as good as a ward, just knowing that their jungle has no one in it.
So that means that they know the enemy is farming either the Ancients or the enemy jungle, which that's exactly where Loda and the rest of his team is. Also, I want to point out that Loda is a fairly smart carry in terms of understanding where he can farm at all times. Generally, you don't see anti-mage farming in the enemy jungle this early in the game. He's doing just that. Now TP's back on the bot lane after maybe has realized that Team Liquid's back in their own jungle. Right now, Alliance is really good at avoiding these fights. And again, all they need is time, and they're getting a ton of it.
I'm not too sure why Team Liquid's trying to chase him around their jungle. It seems a bit, I don't know, a
inefficient
bit,
in terms of...
inefficient. This isn't so bad though, just because they have that gem on THG, so they can just clear all their, like they can clear their entire jungle from wards. It makes it a lot harder to farm as Furion, makes it a lot harder to farm with anti-mage. The ward that was actually just countered by Shadow Demon from Liquid is actually really smart. It's up in near the hard camp on the Dire side. That sort of just tells you where Furion is, and being able to see where Furion and anti-mage are, it's just good for how you want to move around the map, especially as your Garo.
Well, we do see anti-mage starting to take a slightly in terms of the net worth. S4 waiting on the high ground, looking for that initiation. TP back on the bot lane here, and TC will be defending this one. All these illusions will be cancelled out. You can see that TC going for the exact build that Aoye and I has been predicted. It's going to be the Helm into BKB and Butterfly. So I imagine once the Butterfly is done, you go straight for the Roshan. That, I guess, should spawn very soon around the same time. And then you just go for a push that hopefully gives them the W.
Yep, I mean, I'd like to see them try to push one more tier 2 before Roshan spawns. There's still 5 minutes before that, so it's getting sort of iffy if they can fight now though. Loda's getting very, very farmed. He's actually going for BKB here, which, I mean, it's good just because they have quite a bit of lockdown between the Nyx and the TG. It's going to let him just blink in there and man up on someone, but it's not a tier 3 item that really, really makes Liquid scared. It's like, oh, if we don't deal with this anti-mage now, we're going to have a lot of problems in 10 minutes. I mean,
that item would have been hard, right?
Yeah, I think a heart, or, yeah, heart. The one thing that is good for Liquid, though, is that Anti-Mage, sure, he's a good carry, but I think that Gyro scales a lot better with items, even though Anti-Mage farms them a bit faster. So if this goes ultra late game, then I think Liquid really has an advantage. They also have a Nyx, Darkseer, a Quap, and a Jakiro, which are 4 heroes with very good stuns once you get the hexes on Darkseer and Queen of Pain, which will really help. I mean, Chen, Shadow Demon, they're not really sheepstick farmers, so...
Well, earlier I was kind of talking about how Team Liquid has been maybe not playing their best, just in terms of mentality, like, you know, they just drop a big game in a big tournament, but so far it seems like all the moves are being made correctly. Haven't seen too many random mistakes here and there. Good rotations, maybe perhaps a rotation up on the top lane to find the anti-mage was a little bit questionable, but for the most part they're trying to pressure where they can pressure, but the annoyance factor of an anti-mage and a Nature's Prophet is forcing them to go back repeatedly, and as a result they're not getting too much done. And again, if you're cheering for Alliance, that's exactly what they're looking for. Anti-mage will have BKB in about one or more two waves, so That's gonna be a big deal here for
One thing
Loda.
that I do want to criticize about Loda's play is that if you saw just now from top, he TP back home, and that's because he's a bit short of mana. I think that if he had been tread swapping a bit more efficiently, he could have just TP'd to that tier 3 top and not had to heal, and small things like that. Like, I haven't really seen him tread swap to blink, so that would have been nice to see. Even though Battlefield gives you that nice mana regen, it's not enough to just continuously blink every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you say, oh yeah, it's just with that tiny bit of mana, but when you're TP home once, not only is the 135 down the drain, you're losing, what, 30 to 40 seconds of free farm, which on the anti-mage, that's a ton of gold.
That is a ton of gold. And more than that, if you're ever low on mana, you can't join your teammate in team fight if you don't have Mana Void. That spell, I feel like people forget about it. They're like, hey, anti-mage, you farm so much, but you're also forgetting that he has the potential to do like 1,000 AoE damage. If Kork ever gets slow and he stands behind an ally, that's like a double kill instantly.
Yeah, and let's not forget that he needs mana to cast his multiple blinks, and more importantly, Manta style. It's actually a pretty mana-intensive base hero. Another thing that you can be doing is sending yourself a clarity if you ever find yourself a little bit of time that you're not tanking neutral creeps. We saw TC just doing that earlier. He was sending himself a clarity when he was kind of roaming from one part of the map to another, making sure that he could also stay on the battlefield. He doesn't have the Voice Storm regen, so maybe it's a little bit more important for him to do that. But in any case, TC's up to 1,600 gold. Anything on his chicken yet? He's going to have his butterfly after this midway farm. Roshan is going to be back in about 1 or 2 minutes. So all the kind of timing, lining up, hitting each other at the same time, they have to get this Aegis and they have to get a tier 2. And we might get ourselves a game, but on the same token, Anti-Mage is uninterrupted for the past, I want to say, close to 10 minutes now.
Yeah, he's been AFK farming basically since he got his battle through. I mean, this next fight, basically, it's going to set the tone of the rest of the game. It doesn't necessarily decide the entire game. You can have some things happening in the game, like if Liquid wins a fight, Anti-Mage gets sort of a Abyssal Blade secretly. He blinks into the guy with Manta, Abyssal Blades him, and they quickly kill the guy and win a team fight. So this Roshan is really important, but I don't think he'll be the complete game decider here.
I do have a quick question for you. You were talking about the build of Helm, BKB into Butterfly. Is BKB even necessary in this game? There's not really much that you're BKBing for. I guess the big thing is the mana break damage, the mana void damage, flame break, but these are not exactly your big AoE. Is it better just to go for, like, for example, a Satanic?
Yeah, this game I really would have preferred that he just got the Ogre Axe. If he really felt like he needed to tank up. Personally, I would have gotten the drums instead of
the full BKB.
Yeah, instead of the BKB here. But I mean, it's not bad. It's safe. The one criticism, though, I think if he had a drums, I think he would have another 20 CS. If he had a Yash, he would have another like 30. So like, it does sort of matter. He would be a bit more farmed, and he would also do a lot more damage. And if you look at, like, he hasn't used his BKB at all.
Right.
And if you buy defensive items, it means that, oh, they got a courier, they won.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But it is a good path to victory. Fluff and stuff dropping very low. I'm not too sure what that mech, and it looks like he's getting some data. Initiation. S4 gets caught. Dual Breath is right there, and he's going to get silenced as well. I think he's going to die to a Soper. He does. A rare mistake by S4, but look at the top lane here, as we do have Loda and perhaps Nature's Prophet joining very shortly. That's going to force a TP from at least one member of Team Liquid. It's going to be Boba coming through, but by himself, he's not going to be able to defend. Actually, pop up all the creep wave. A base regen won't actually kick back up, though, because the corpse on the ground will prevent doing so, and Loda will be hitting on the tower a little bit more, but the Roshan will now go to Team Liquid, and that's a big takeoff here for Team Liquid earlier on.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Ike's right there. He put his Ice Path, I think it was blind. He just threw it out there. And sometimes when you throw out spells like that, you don't like, oh no, I need the perfect RP or something, you just chuck it out there, you get, stuff happens. And I mean, if you have a spell as spammable as Ice Path, you might as well. Yeah,
and who knows, he was looking for the Wildkin, maybe he thought S4 was there, but hey, found them, immediate dual breath. I think they kind of knew that he was there, so very, very good pick. Now, Team Liquid has everything they need, right? Maybe they're even going to wait for a Scythe of Ice, but that's really about 20... I mean, they're not going to find it anytime soon. Yeah, it's going to be 5-6 minutes from now.
Darkseid's just finishing his pipe here in about 10 seconds, so I think they'll try to hit a timing off this.
So you go about now, you find a pick, and then you go, or you just go down to mid lane and say, we have the better items. Nyx Assassin also picked up a Blink Dagger. I feel like this is the perfect timing.
Yeah, I feel like you don't necessarily have to go, but I feel if they don't take the two other towers, they'd sort of be wasting their Aegis here. Because they definitely want to force a fight, and killing two outer towers is the best way to do that. bottom lane especially, it's very hard for Alliance to defend that. If you look at how the base towers work, it's where you have to run into a choke in order to push that. But tier 2s, you have to be in a choke to defend it.
Yes.
So tier 2s are actually really good for pushing.
Well, so far we do see a tier 2 on the bot lane, most likely going to go down. A couple Alliance heroes nearby, maybe trying to bait out a TP. But Team Liquid says, no, we are going to defend it. I'm a little bit surprised as for getting position to start fireflighting to initiate. Korok might get picked off right about here. No, he blinks out just in safety.
Yeah, and now denying a tower is always nice.
Well, S4 is going to, or excuse me, TC is going to be farming on the mid lane as well. He's suddenly up to another 3k gold. Where do you go from here? MKB? Or you upgrade yourself?
I would say you wait just a tad to see what item Loda maybe purchases. If you have to blindly guess because you think that you need the items because the fight's going to happen, I would actually get an MKB here just because if Anti-Mage goes BKB, it's very, very likely that his next item would be that butterfly.
Right, fair.
So I would like to see an MKB on him here. Satanic is sort of just nice just because they can't really kill you in the lasso them. There is a chance that if a soul catcher gets on you during that lasso that they do burst you down.
Right.
So
on the same token though, we kind of talked about how BKB may not be fully necessary and getting yet another quote-unquote defensive item on him.
Yeah, it seems like at this point you might want to be a bit scared of Anti-Mage just going ham.
I'm getting spammed the hell out of it, so I need to do something
offline
about
mode, maybe?
Am I not offline?
Yeah, I don't think you're on offline mode. If you just shift enter.
Shift enter.
Or shift tab, sorry, shift tab. Shift tab. You can go to view all friends in the bottom on the left side. Up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. View all friends. And then you go to that tab and you go offline. There you go.
That's why we have Aoi, and thank you guys for that throw. I appreciate it. Back in the game as we have now I have to like ignore 80 people on my friend list to. Got it, thank you. Good advice. Should have had it about 40 minutes ago.
Fuck LD.
Alright, we're back in this game.
One thing that I do sort of like for Liquid in this case is that Shadow Demon actually chose to max his Soul Catcher over Disrupt. I feel like Disruption is the much better choice for this scenario. Just because those illusions last so much longer and they actually do disgusting amounts of damage. Soul Catcher, sure you hit it on them, but from 120% damage to 150%, that's only a 25% increase. Whereas I feel like extra disruption in a team fight, you can live those 16 seconds, will really turn an entire team fight, can potentially turn an entire team fight around.
Well, we'll see if those Soul Catcher will be landing. It's actually very difficult to land them in the middle of a chaotic team fight. Team like slowly sieging this tower. Unfortunately, tower regen.
Ton of damage top.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Glyph is gonna be forced out as well. It's actually the split pushing team doing a lot better. Treants are here. That's going to force another TP back. And the fact that these TPs are being forced multiple times, S4 comes back in, but it's going to be Fluff and Sub blinking in into a... My god, he blinked into the fire with the Spike Carapace. S4 is getting outplayed in his own game. Meanwhile, Lotus going to BKB and TP out. That's going to be 10-second BKB charge. Admiral Bulldog TPing out there as well. What a play here by Team Liquid. And now I think you just storm down the mid lane for a big push.
If that BKB on the Anti-Mage didn't have to be popped, I thought that was actually a very smart play by S4. It would have been sort of a no-risk thing. Like, if Bat Raider dies and Anti-Mage still has BKB, Liquid can't really push down mid. Maybe they'll push down bot, but the lane was going to be quite pushed out anyways. So I thought that was smart, but since the BKB had to happen there, that might have been a bit over-ambitious.
Well, TC is going to be eating a couple of nukes. I hope he has Satanic fully finished now. So Aegis, Satanic, BKB, this is where you just charge up the hill and be like, well, I have the biggest item, I have the strongest inventory. The BKB on Anti-Mage now completely dysfunctional, at least for the next couple of seconds.
I really want to see Loda buy item, but
saving buyback. Looks like Queen of Pain's going to initiate right now. S4 is going to counter initiate, but Blink from Fluff against Spike Carapace. S4 is just not having his usual effect. The Centaur in the middle lane gets stomp. Aki's going to get lifted, or Aki's going to get picked off. That's a double kill on Boba, and now the high ground's completely breached. TC's got all the damage in the world. S4 buys back, cancels the TP on Korok, and it's going to be base race time. If you look at the top lane, Loda's already got the melee racks. He's working on the mid racks, also on the bot lane. IX Mike can't really defend by himself. Admiral Bulldog siphoning up, and looks like that's going to be another kill. What a recovery from Team Loda. Well, Team Alliance, but really Team Loda here, as he's one man really putting his team back in this position. I really don't think... It looks like X Mike, or not X Mike, Furion trying to threaten the TP. Back in the mid lane, though, Boba's going to get picked off. S4 buying back to cancel that TP from Boba, that was huge. And guess what? The mid racks still stands.
Okay, let's just take a moment to just look at how well Alliance played out. So Liquid hits their ideal item timing. They think, oh wow, this is really good. Loda and Admiral Bulldog both managed to keep the lanes pushed out far enough by playing sort of aggressive to creating space. You don't want to like sit back and fight in the jungle this situation. You want to push the lanes. They managed to stall Liquid for a ridiculously long time. Like Batter jumps in, he knows he's gonna die. He grips someone. They all have to dive in away from the tier 3 to sort of hurt him. Chen lands 2 4-man center stomps, and then S4 cancels TPs. The
buyback into cancel TPs.
Yeah, buyback to cancel TPs. Then results, they pick off 3 Liquid members. They get top racks, they get bottom tower, and Alliance looks in a very, very dominant position right now. Yeah,
they were completely disarrayed. They weren't even able to break down the mid racks as a result. S4 smoked up, Firefly up, looking for a pick. I mean, I want to say that S4's not having his usual S4 game, but he's still so effective. We talked about the TP cancel. We talked about him almost playing like a sacrificial bait. Loda says, all right, nobody sees here. I'm going to blink in Manta, and that's going to force double TP out. And they will not get a racks off of this, but a ton of great damage as a result.
And more importantly than anything, that created so much space. Like, I think it's sort of understated how much just doing something like that matters. If they don't TP back, they lose the racks. If they do TP back, they have to run around the circle for another minute. He's actually just buying a minute of time for his team to do anything they want. And as for sure, he's not having the best game. I mean, you'd like to see a Batrider have a few more picks in this. I mean, it's 7 kills in 40-ish minutes for a Batrider team. That's a bit low, and he's only involved in 4 of them. But he's actually created a ton of space for his allies to sort of run around, kill things, push things.
Yeah.
And the end result is to get racks.
It's the back and forth play by Loda and Nature's Prophet. You talked about how it's a two-pronged thing. Because Nature's Prophet and Anti-Mage were able to keep the lane pushed out, they were able to make that play. If that wasn't the case, if they were just sitting in the jungle, twiddling the thumbs and farming, that wouldn't have happened. And now it's Alliance that's actually ahead, despite the fact that TC and Team Liquid has hit all the timing, despite the fact that they got the Roshan, Aegis and everything else. It just doesn't matter. Now they're down at racks against the Nature's Prophet, against the full capability of backdooring at any time. How do you leave your base?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. I mean, I really have to say that I would have liked something other than Pipe on Darkseer in this game. I think that like a Travels and a point booster to head towards Agnum Scepter would have been a much better choice. If he had had those Travels, then Furion can't really split push. So sure, you have to deal with the Anti-Mage split push, but it's not as bad as dealing with both the Furion and the Anti-Mage. Like Darkseer would be able to defend the Furion's lane. Maybe not the Anti-Mage so much, but at least you'd have something, right? You wouldn't have trying to push into their tier 3 when your tier 3s are already being hit by an Anti-Mage and a Furion. I
mean, to his credit though, he thought that with the pipe usage, they would have won the game right there by popping the pipe, going for the tier 3, winning a team fight, and then getting another tier 3 and win.
Yeah. I mean, the thought process is there, but I feel like against a team like Alliance who's so experienced at split pushing, keeping pressure on, it's a bit overambitious, and top lane, they're killing people.
Yeah, it looks like it was a 1-for-1 trade. S4 here for us, as well as a fluff kill. I guess a little bit more impressive for a Team Liquid pickup, but it really doesn't matter. In fact, without all 5 members of Team Liquid, they can't push. Meanwhile though, Loda and the rest of Alliance could definitely play the same way that they've been playing, which is split push, and you definitely don't need all 5 members. So in fact, maybe even a better pickoff for Alliance, as I mean, they're still free to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking the best for Team Liquid right now. We talked a little bit about how Gyro scales better than Anti-Mage into the ultra late game. But if you can hit, like there are timings where Anti-Mage is also stronger. If he gets an Abyssal Blade, right when he gets that, if TC doesn't have like 4 items, then Anti-Mage might be able to completely dominate them. We're going for a Roshan here.
Yeah, the Tornado is fully scouting them out. TC should be very, very in position. Drop a TP scroll. Looks like Boba's getting low as well. Queen of Plane blinks back out. Anti-Mage blinks in, pop the BKB, and he's just going to work. Gets a 1 kill, gets a double kill. TC pops his BKB, but he's tanking the Roshan. He's getting bashed, and now Loda will be taking the Aegis. I think EGM getting position. Disruption comes in. Fluff though, blinks in, snacks the Aegis. Now he's going to go to work against Loda. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the damage. The Scythe comes through against Quark. Quark's going to also go down. I think Team Liquid might be, this is the last thing they're going to see. Fluff is going to get initiative upon. He's going to die to basically everybody railing on him. Oh, nice dagger out here by Fluff and stuff. Spike Carapace, nice impale as well. He's trying his best to survive as long as possible, but really, this is I don't know. 3 hits, Gems is gonna get dropped as well, and this gotta be GG.
This looks like the game's pretty much over here. They're gonna be able to take Megas, and I don't know. I feel like I never like Pipe as an item, and I don't know what Liquid could have done. They need to push the lanes a lot more before pushing mid like that, but they really need a boost of travel for that. So that's why I feel like Pipe was the incorrect choice. If they could have taken high ground, Pipe might have helped a bit, but I don't feel like it would have been enough.
Yeah, I felt like, as we see a fight going on in the mid lane, but IX might try his best to defend. He's going to get picked off as well. And Boba as well as Fluff getting driven back. I felt like they played so well, they being Team Liquid. Like, they haven't made too many big mistakes, perhaps a little bit too slow to push out the equilibrium, but for most part of the game, they were playing Loda's game. They were trying to defend split push and not really doing a good job while doing so. They got their items, they got the Aegis, but they were always defending. And as a result, one mistake kind of threw them out of this game.
I feel like they had to secure a bit more map control with maybe a more early mid-game oriented build on Gyrocopter, maybe like a drums.
Instead of BKB.
Yeah, if they had done that, maybe taking the tier 2 bottom a bit earlier, Anti-Mage wouldn't have had as easy of a time farming. He couldn't really farm as freely, especially with the next Sarah, the Queen of Pain, Lincoln. But yeah, it's hard. I feel Alliance really, that last pick Anti-Mage really threw a wrench into Team Liquid's plans.
Well, I think right now what we're going to see from Team Liquid is just a glorious charge down the middle, and let's see how much they can get. You never know what's going to happen. Let's see if they win a big team fight here. The game might not be just out of reach. Fluff and stuff getting in position to utilize his Blink Dagger. He's already vendetted up.
I love how Bulldog, his response is, hey, let's just go to their base.
Yeah. Why the hell not? Bulldog also doing the same thing. It's going to be a BKB initiation, and now Spike Carapace would not do a single thing. Oh, TC. No, there's going to be Gash. Can he pop the Satanic? Satanic Duration is actually running out because of that bash, and that's got to be it. The rest of the team is on really a full retreat. The wall gets dropped down, wall gets ignored, and BKB Anti-Mage, Blink Anti-Mage is all over the map, getting kills, and guess what? Bulldog already droning at this point. GG well play gets called, and Team Liquid drops yet another game. To their credit, I don't think they play poorly at all. I feel like this is pretty impressive Dota, but Alliance is just another step further.
Yeah, I mean, the level of this tournament is just so high that not playing poorly just doesn't cut it sometimes.
Yeah, you have to play perfect.
You have to play perfect, or at least close.
Well, that's going to do it for this particular game. It's only a best of 1 for those of you guys that are not really familiar with the format. It's just a big group of 6, and each team is playing their other teams once. And Alliance so far has defeated DK and Team Liquid. IG didn't look strong, so I'm not sure how that matchup's going to go. I mean, LGD did, though.
IG is IG. At the end of the day, you have to just say it. IG is IG.
They got 243. 2-43.
They got stomped into International 2 by LGD too, didn't they?
I guess so.
I mean, sometimes games like that just happen. I really didn't like their draft that much in the game. It's not overly indicative of their skill, obviously, and they definitely can turn something around. So,
judging from the performance that we saw from the first game from Alliance, and now this game, again, playing from mostly behind the whole time and coming out with a kind of a fell swoop of a win, how do you feel about Alliance's chances? I don't think a lot of people have counted them in the top 2 or even winning the whole thing. Now, after seeing this, what do you think?
I still say IG's going to win.
Okay.
It's just something about that team. They go somewhere and something just happens. And sometimes I just can't put my finger on it. Alliance, they've been playing really well, sure. Okay. But I don't know. IG's just IG.
All right. I mean,
that's why we bring AUI here. Yeah, it's for that level of analysis.
There you go.
IG is IG. Okay, here's why. In the first game, sure, Alliance beat DK, right? But they took a level 1 Roshan, and it felt like their play, it wasn't as good or as dominant as it should be, considering they had a level 1 Roshan. I felt like Ursa should have snowballed completely out of control due to that level 1 Roshan. Sure, Admiral Bulldog completely beat the guy on lane, and he sort of carried throughout the entire game, but I felt like their trialing, when you're up against an aggressive trialing as a defensive trialing with a level advantage, even if you're spending money on TPs, or you have to use yourself or something, you should completely stomp them in lane. Like, it should be...
They should have won harder.
Yeah, it should have been absurd how fast and how hard they would have won off that level 1 Roshan, especially with their lineup they had. So, it felt a bit well, I mean, the Chinese are really good at turtling, but if they want to win this entire tournament, I feel like they have to play a bit better than that.
Okay, so AUI and Blitz as well. Let's actually look at the matches that the Alliance has coming up. They're not going to be playing, not all these games today, but they will be playing Orange, LGD, and Invictus Gaming. As you look through these 3 matchups, which of these teams do you think they can beat? Which of these teams do you think maybe they're going to have some trouble against?
I mean, like Kurt said very eloquently, IG is still IG. The individual skill is still there. I think the game against LGD wasn't so much a fluke as it was just a best of 1. It snowballs into a game like that.
Right, against DK, yeah.
Normally, well, I meant IG versus LGD.
Oh, right.
Yeah, a game like that, IG looked kind of poor, but I think it would have never gotten to that point in the sense that they probably would have GG'd before that, and it wouldn't have looked like 42-2. But it was a best of 1, right? So you might as well.
They could have tapped out. It's a LAN event. They're going to play it until the end. They did have Tinker Profit, so there's a chance of coming back until you lose racks.
So I think if IG plays the way they did and Alliance gets, they play the way they did, I think IG is favored in that matchup. And I think against Orange as well, I think Orange is one of those teams that can beat any team, but also they're a little less consistent in the sense that they also drop games. I mean, they lost to Rising Stars recently too, right?
Right.
And that's definitely not like a tier 1 Chinese team by any means. And then who was the last team that they have to play against?
LGD.
LGD. I mean, LGD looks phenomenal these last few weeks, right? I mean, they absolutely crushed the qualifiers so far. They had a small hiccup against Dreams, but for the most part, I mean, they put together some pretty dominant performances. And then on top of that, the game we saw against IG that we just referenced, the other side of the coin where they went 42-2, they were the 42. So, I mean, Alliance has a tough road against them, but I'd say they should be able to win at least one game. If I had to tell you, like, gun to my head, Orange, I'd say, would be their best bet.
So if they at least win that one more game, they'll definitely move on to the next phase. That will put them no matter what at 3-2, and you only have to finish top 4 to move on. But that's not really enough. You definitely want to get as many wins as you can under your belt. If you're able to win all your games, well, you're guaranteed a top 2 placement, and you get to sit at the end of the bubble race and just kind of wait and see how all the other teams are playing, how things develop. I love that name, by the way, the bubble race. That's going to wrap it up for Alliance versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid now 0-2. They have a tough road ahead of them. They got to start putting wins on the board, or they're not even going to qualify for the playoffs of the G1 League LAN Finals. Coming up next, guys, is going to be Kawa, save me here. I actually forget. LGD versus DK. So we're going to have an all-Chinese matchup. There you go. Thank you, Kawa. That's going to be another best of 1. Currently, LGD is 1-0 in the group. DK 0-1. But the way that DK got to that 0-1, they played really well, even in defeat. And I feel like had Alliance not had that really powerful start, like AUI said, they might have been able to take the game. So that should be a good matchup. Hopefully a close one coming up very soon. Stay tuned for that, guys. We'll be back with more G1 League LAN Finals Season 5 action after this.